Thank you, everybody. Just give us a moment here while we fire up our iPads and get ready. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. This is our last regular meeting of Council for the year. We have two special meetings coming up, one tomorrow and one later this week to deal with the budgetary items. But tonight is, as I said, the last regular meeting. We are video conference, so anyone who comes forward should know that. And if you will be participating in our public participation period, I ask you to fill that out. I'll say more about that in a minute. So with that, I'm going to call the meeting to order, and I'm going to ask. We're going to start with item number 1, which is the adoption of our council minutes from November 28th, please. Moved and seconded. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? None opposed. The minutes, we also have at item number 2, Committee of the Whole. Moved and seconded. Thank you. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? None opposed. Thank you. And the last set of minutes is a special council meeting for December the 5th.
Moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? None opposed. Thank you very much. Now, instead of my remarks, because this is considered the annual meeting where we make appointments and we essentially end one year and start another, as our tradition in Oak Bay has been that the mayor delivers a rousing speech. I'm going to depart from that tonight and just give a quietly special speech on the essentially the state of the realm and what we've done this year. We will come later to making the 2017 appointments near the end of the committee. So, thank you very much. So, there's no other remarks after this here. We'll go right into the public participation. As I reflect over the past year and trying to make sense of what's going on around us, particularly down south and other parts of the world, I am reminded of how thankful I am to be a Canadian, to live in British Columbia, and particularly to be here in Oak Bay. And I'm certainly honored to serve as your mayor and to have the opportunity to work with elected council in order that we work together to preserve and enhance the quality of life and the unique character that defines us here in Oak Bay and that we all hold very precious. A dominant theme of 2016 was renewal. This past year we recognized and celebrated the retirement of several very long-serving employees, and we're very grateful to them who contributed so much of their professional lives to the betterment of our community. We welcomed new members to our leadership team who bring with them expertise, a new energy and experience to help us move forward and implement our many priorities and, of course, deliver on the expectations that our residents have. We welcomed Debbie Carter, who replaced the long-serving Patricia Walker as Director of Financial Services. Patricia retired after a long and illustrious career. Dan Horan, way at the back, replaced an equally long-serving retiring Dave Marshall as the Director of Engineering and Public Works. And we also welcomed Warren Jones, who replaced our Director of Corporate Services, Loren Hilton, who didn't retire but moved on to be the CAO in the District of Highlands. Now, Council's core mandate, as we all know, is protecting the quality of living here, public safety, and management and maintenance of essential services, our roads, sewers, parks, recreation facilities in particular. And we appreciate all that our public works and parks crew do to ensure our vital infrastructure is maintained. We continue to be very proud of our police, led by Chief Constable Andy Brinton, and our fire department, led by Chief Dave Cockle, and of course the men and women who ensure that our neighborhoods are safe, friendly, and orderly. And we hear over and over again how important these services are to our residents and how much our residents value the seamless delivery of our public safety services in our community. In 2016, staff embarked upon a process to develop a comprehensive asset management, a plan to address the replacement and ongoing maintenance of our aging infrastructure, and to ensure that Council's decision-making reflects community interests and concerns and values. This year, we also strengthened our commitment to citizen engagement. In January, we started webcasting council meetings so that more citizens could follow council's work from their homes. And we engage residents more broadly in key initiatives to foster greater awareness and understanding by creating more opportunities for our residents to access and share information. I understand in the next few days the grumpy taxpayers will be recognizing our openness and our new openness starting in with that webcasting. This approach to greater openness seems to have gained some traction this year as our district website saw much more activity and our residents responded to invitations to engage in online surveys and attend open houses, tools which play an integral role in gathering community feedback. Now, thank you to everyone who contributed their valuable time and energy and important insights to ensure that our community continues to reflect the needs and wants of our citizens today and into the future. A key milestone for us in 2016 was a decision to proceed with the provincially mandated sewer separation in the Uplands neighborhood. Several hundred residents engaged with our staff and consultants throughout a year-long process that resulted in a publicly supported, well-informed technical solution, which will see the phased installation of a new stormwater main. The next step for the capital project is in 2017 when we begin a detailed design phase. And as we know, change is happening all around us. It's inevitable as our neighborhoods and our citizens age, our homes and infrastructures are aging, and how we respond to increased demands for new housing options and plan for modest population growth without compromising our infrastructure, our natural environment, and our neighborhood character is a key challenge and an important priority focus for council and staff and our citizens and our residents. With the official community plan as our guide, and that plan was finished in the last term and took 2 years, as you may recall. That will be our guide. And with the support of our citizens committees and through more public engagement activities, staff have started to develop strategies that will help inform decisions, ensuring community values and priorities are recognized and protected and enhanced. One example of this is the urban forest strategy. And of course, what we know distinguishes Oak Bay from many other communities is our natural environment, our beautiful parks and tree-lined streets, and the passion of our citizen champions of the urban forest. Once finalized in 2017, the urban forest strategy will be used more broadly to help guide decisions of council and staff. The goal is to integrate all the key elements into our planning processes and decision-making rather than working in silos. Addressing housing options and issues of affordability is another priority for council. We are grateful to the Advisory Planning Commission who are now working with staff to bring forward a recommendation for an approach that will help inform a housing strategy for the district in 2017. Now, arts and culture are powerful, positive influences that contribute to economic vibrancy, amongst other things, and in our communities, and encourage social engagement and, of course, creative expression. Culture was formally added to the mandate of Parks and Recreation this year. And our wonderful Parks Laureate, Barbara Adams, once again delighted us all with the masterful placement of wonderful sculptures throughout our community. The acorns in the front are one example of how they engaged our community. Then there was the pop-up hand-painted pianos throughout our neighborhoods. And certainly these sculptures are captivating people from far and wide, from throughout the region, who've come here to see this installation, these installations, I should say, as well as enjoy the many other pieces of sculpture in addition to the acorns. I am quite comfortable saying that in 2016, Oak Bay became a cultural destination for visitors, concert goers, Willows and the Willows concerts, and shoppers. Our residents and local businesses are enjoying the vibrancy and public energy that has resulted from supporting this artistic additions to our community. It has added a new dimension and a vibrancy. And we thank the Parks, Recreation, and Culture Commission and staff for their continued leadership in this area. Absolutely wonderful. In 2016, we launched our first citizen satisfaction survey this fall, inviting residents to provide feedback to council and to staff on what is working well and what we need to improve, and what initiatives and concerns are priorities for our residents. 99% of those who participated in the survey said they rated the quality of life in Oak Bay as good or very good. And 8 out of 10 participants felt they were getting good value for their tax dollars. Just getting back to the 99 number, that's plus or minus 4.6%, which means that somewhere between 95 and 104% of our people were satisfied. The survey also identified initiatives and concerns that are priorities for residents, as an example for preserving our natural environment. Our parks and trails and the safety of our streets and neighborhoods continue to be priorities for our residents. It's also clear that how we address and finance our aging infrastructure, including sewage treatment and sewer services, is important to our residents, and how, as a community, we seek effective control over the urban deer population. The survey also asked Council to consider the impact of population growth and densification. The information that we gathered provided a valuable snapshot for Council, staff, and our community. While identifying areas of concern, the public feedback in the survey also says that we, as we wind up this year, as a council, we're on the right track. And I want to thank all those people for participating in that survey. 2016 has been a year of renewal of our approach to community engagement, not just with our residents, but with other local governments, including the Songhees and Esquimalt Nation, something that I am particularly proud of. Council has made it a priority to build relationships of understanding, respect, and friendship with these important communities. And as we met in government to government meetings, we shared meals, stories, illuminating conversations. And we have met to discuss how we might engage each other in our infrastructure replacement projects and on cultural awareness, opportunities to bridge a historical divide and build trust and opportunities for our residents as well as their communities. And it is important that we recognize that we are on the traditional territories of the Lekwungen peoples. Our mutual goal is to develop an enduring and respectful relationship. We were very proud, I was particularly proud, on November the 11th, to honor the commitment and contribution of the First Nations men and women as Canadian soldiers fighting for a collective freedom. That was the first time it was done. This was a humbling and historic moment for all of us, and we were very proud to have a member of the Songhees Nation join us as one community of people to lay a wreath of remembrance at our cenotaph. We hope this will be the beginning of a long tradition and many more opportunities for engagement and reconciliation with First Nations. Engaging more effectively and openly with residents and with our neighbors and with our staff has had a positive impact. I want to acknowledge yet again our citizens who had stepped forward to give of their time, experience, and energy, particularly all those who served on council commissions, committees, panels, and boards. And we will be reappointing many tonight. And thank you to those people who've come forward for giving your time and your expertise. It's greatly appreciated. Your insights, your passion, and dedication do help inform and guide our decision making. You help us make better decisions that reflect the needs, concerns, and wishes of our citizens. So I want to thank you. And 2016 has been a busy year, a very busy year, an extremely productive year for Oak Bay Council and our community. While your council is tasked with the ultimate responsibility for governing and overseeing the business of our municipality, it is our staff who deliver the services that contribute and uphold the quality of life that we all enjoy and value. Our staff take their responsibility very seriously and work extremely hard, shouldering the many demands of operating a municipality. Every day, our staff make sure that we have clean water, that sanitary sewage is carried away, that our roads are clean and safe for vehicles, cyclists, and pedestrians, that your recreation centers continue to be the envy of our region and meet all our families' needs and interests, that our parks and neighborhoods are beautiful, safe, welcoming, and that our businesses are supported by community events that attract customers, and that your questions are answered when you call Municipal Hall or visit here. They do all this each and every day of the year, rain or shine, or I suppose now I have to add snow. And on top of this, they are responsible for delivering Council's major priorities, in addition to their day-to-day activities. We're very fortunate to have this group of employees. We have a very lean and capable team. And on behalf of Council and our community, thank you for coming to work every day and consistently delivering high-quality services that we all have come to rely on and value in Oak Bay. Thank you. Special thanks to our Chief Administrative Officer, Helen Koning, who has built and led such a strong and dedicated team in times of transition and gathered a new energy and new visions from the new employees. To my council colleagues, I'm thankful for your dedication. Together, working with staff and our citizens, your commitment to make positive and lasting contributions to our great community is recognized and appreciated throughout the year. On behalf of everyone at the District of Oak Bay and to all our residents, may the joyous spirit of this wonderful season be with you and your loved ones over the holidays, and may you enjoy the blessings of health, happiness, family, and friendships in the new year. We all look forward to 2017, a year that promises to be a positive and exciting one for Oak Bay. So Merry Christmas, and I hope you all will join my wife Jean and I for the New Year's Community Walk starting at the Recreation Center on January the 1st. Thank you for your attention. Thank you. Public participation period, that's number 5 on our list. We do have a public participation period of 20 minutes at every regular council meeting. We ask people to come forward and for 3 minutes address us on an issue that concerns Oak Bay, and state your name and your community, and if you wouldn't mind filling out there's I think a form there that you can put your name so we get the right spelling also. Okay, anyone wishes to address us? Anyone wishes to address us? Anyone wishes to address us? Thank you very much. We move on to item number 6, which is a special event application, a temporary occupation of roadways on the 28th of May. This is for the Cool Oak Bay Half Marathon.
Move approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded, and that would be subject to a series of conditions contained in the recommendations. Yes, go ahead, please. Discussion.
Thank you very much, Chair. Question for staff. I'm sorry, but I have to jump ahead in the agenda item. I see that item 7 and item 8 both appear on the same day. Or sorry, item 6 and 7 appear same day and on practically the same location. Is that going to prove a problem? Is my question for staff. Thank you.
I think staff have already contemplated that, and they sent me a little note this afternoon regarding how we might approach that. So, Ms. Jones, I received that note from you. Could you address that issue, please?
Thank you, Your Worship. Staff were happy to review these applications for a couple of times around, and we were very happy that the applicants were so responsive to staff's concerns. We feel we've addressed it adequately. We've had review with police and fire.
Okay. All right, thank you. There were some outstanding issues on the next one. Was there that on number 7, or they've been resolved?
No, the MS Walk has addressed staff's concerns.
Okay.
They are contemplating occupancy of a parking lot, and it's important to note that they are on sidewalks, not on roadways.
All right, thank you. So we have a motion on the floor to approve the Cool Oak Bay Half Marathon. All in favor? Opposed? None opposed. We next move to the MS Nova Scotia Bank Walk on the same day as this is clear, and we have a recommendation there. And we are ready to proceed with this. All of the items have been dealt with. Okay.
Move approval.
Second.
Moved, seconded. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? None opposed. Thank you. Oak Bay Tourism, and this is a presentation of their budget, and we have our liaison to that group, Councillor Croft. Did you want to introduce the speaker and just give a little bit of background on what we're going to hear?
Oh, no, thank you for the surprise. I didn't realize that I was going to be on deck here.
Think of it as an early Christmas present.
I'd like to introduce Chris Morash, who is the chair of the Oak Bay Tourism Committee, and doing a terrific job in that, being put into a new job himself this year.
Here you go. Welcome. And I think you've got a PowerPoint, which was also part of our package and is also online. And I think we're up and rolling. Welcome.
Thank you. The joys of technology.
Here we go. We saw that beautiful picture that's coming up next. Is that one that Councillor Murdoch took? He's the in-house photographer, and Councillor Braithwaite is the in-house AV assistant.
I believe last year I was sitting in Councillor Braithwaite's seat while doing this.
Welcome.
Thank you. First of all, thank you, Mayor Mills, for having us, and councillors. Thank you for hearing us out and our plan for 2017. On behalf of our committee and our subcommittees, we're here to present an overview of our plan and for your review and approval. And we are also going to highlight some of our accomplishments from 2016, highlight some of our goals for 2017, and have a look at our budget and provide any opportunities for questions at the end. So let me just get my clicker here. All right, so a bit of an overview on Oak Bay tourism. I don't know if that was me or not, but our vision for Oak Bay obviously is it's a not to be missed leisure destination within Victoria. Oak Bay's coastal community is culturally packed with art, nature, and locally fresh cuisine throughout all 4 seasons. Sorry. Okay, I don't know how to make this full screen here. So is this okay for everybody? Okay.
No, you're in a different format. You have to use the little arrows up and down, I think.
It's hard to see because it's not on the screen.
Can we go
Here,
full
sorry.
screen again? Sorry, I think I hit a button.
I think it was the next slide that kind of,
There we go.
now
Okay.
we're cooking.
So, our mission at Oak Bay Tourism is to inspire all Vancouver Island and Victoria visitors to experience and become enamored with Oak Bay as a year-round destination and contribute to the community well-being and quality of life for residents and stakeholders. We do this by leveraging our strengths, mitigating our weaknesses, and capitalize on the unique destination that we are. Our brand and our brand promise is that Oak Bay is a quintessential West Coast community. Picture perfect ocean vistas, local cuisine, shopping, arts, culture, and memories at the visitor's preferred pace. We offer this through a number of activities. We're an active community, sophisticated cultural experiences. We are a relaxing and leisurely destination with authentic and a clean neighborhood. We're moderate climate year-round, unparalleled coastline and ocean views, and we're an escape from the bustle of downtown. Oak Bay tourism is made up of a number of stakeholders that contribute to the brand. This is a little overview of who those stakeholders are and who we work with on an annual basis through our committee and our subcommittees to ensure that we have a strong and healthy destination and a strong and healthy brand that we can then go out to tourists with and encourage visitation and repeat visitation. Our target market, based on our budget and our scope, we obviously look at our target market as sort of shorter haul visitors. So our primary markets are Vancouver Island and the Lower Mainland. Secondary markets include Calgary, Edmonton, and the Alberta market, as well as Washington and Oregon State. Target market, which is something that we're really working on identifying and rounding out a lot more in depth this year, is made up of affluent, higher income earners, adults aged 40 plus, and well educated. So with post-secondary or higher education. So the demographic is who they are. Psychographic is what they like to do or why do they come. And this is where we have an opportunity to speak to some of those key differentiators of Oak Bay, the active opportunities, whether it's walking, cycling, golfing, kayaking, arts and culture, which Mayor Nils already alluded to, is something that we've been leveraging over the last number of years as the cultural experiences in Oak Bay have continued to grow. We've got shopping, we've got luxury products, we've an excellent destination for romantic travel opportunities. We're safe, we're clean, and we have a destination that allows people to kind of take it in at their own pace. So for 2016, a number of the achievements I'll highlight fairly briefly here included ongoing website audit and enhancements, branding of our kiosk and our info bike, which was out in full force this summer. So our visitor services coordinator was active part-time throughout the entire summer, and it was a pilot project that we were testing. That visitor service coordinator touched over 1,600 visitors and had that many interactions, and was positioned in key high traffic areas, both in the village as well as at special events, and even going as far as downtown Victoria through the Tourism Visitor Information Center during peak event opportunities. This fall, we also launched one of our larger campaigns to date, and that was the Picture Perfect Oak Bay. So kind of leveraging the brand that we had developed the year previously, the Picture Perfect Oak Bay. That was then turned into this campaign for this year. Since launching in September, we've had over 260 photos submitted. We've created a large bank of quality photos and videos through the video that we put together for that promotion, and we'll be able to not only leverage those photos and those videos in the future, but also through the interactions that we've had with people both online and through our website, we're able to build a database and a group of followers that we can continue to speak to on an ongoing basis. So for 2017, we have a number of goals. We want to continue to develop what we've been doing and scale up as much as we can this year. We'll do that through increased stakeholder engagement. We have continued opportunities to update our website, reorganize it so that it is a better experience for those who are visiting. We want to showcase Oak Bay stakeholders. We want to showcase more Oak Bay stakeholders and continue building that presence on our website, as well as click-throughs and call to actions, making sure that there is an obvious flow for visitors to our website and where to go for information, and pointing them to the information that they're really looking for that are going to help them make a decision to come to our destination. We're also developing a biannual newsletter to stakeholders and visitors and start just an ongoing conversation with them. We want to strengthen our campaigns and focus on both sector marketing and develop the shoulder season visitation. That's one of the key goals this year, is really focus on shoulder season visitation. So we'll do that by developing different shoulder season campaigns, identifying a marketing calendar for the year that highlights off-season campaigns so that we can work our marketing strategies around that, developing in-depth target market personas, so gathering information from visitors this year so that we can start accumulating a database that we can then put personas to and understand who is coming to Oak Bay, why they're coming, so that we can use that information in our decision making in the future. Consolidate Oak Bay events and activity listings online, and really try and become more of a hub for information of what's going on in Oak Bay through the website, through our social feeds as well, and produce Oak Bay content year round. So have an ongoing presence in terms of the content that's being distributed and the events that are happening on a daily and a weekly basis in Oak Bay, and making sure that we are the place where people can go to find out that vibrancy is happening. We have lots of partners, and we want to strengthen those this year, working with local businesses and organizations to align with our goals. We are looking to allocate some tourism money this year for product development and community initiatives. And then we also, it's more of a sort of long-term goal, but we would like to start working towards improving access to the destination and looking at ways to overcome maybe the perceived weakness of getting to Oak Bay from downtown Victoria, and what we can do there with either the district, with City of Victoria, Tourism Victoria, to potentially brand and or look at ways that we can improve access to the destination and make it a strength of ours getting here. So last year, here's a few indicators that we've used in planning for next year. So for the Oak Bay Beach Hotel, which I'm involved with, our year-to-date occupancy is at about 71%. That's up 13% from this time last year. The Oak Bay Guest House is also up this year in terms of average occupancy. And you can see some of the other indicators there. Greater Victoria's occupancy is up 4%. And then we've got ferry traffic, airplane traffic into Victoria is also up this year. So we expect that to continue on, and that has sort of informed our plans for 2017. So I believe a more detailed budget has been distributed. This is a snapshot of this year's budget. I'll highlight a couple of items on here compared to last year's budget, but we have identified more of a percentage of our budget this year for marketing. Because we have a larger marketing calendar and more marketing campaigns in mind, we wanted to increase that percentage going towards actually marketing the destination. We've also created a large reserve this year in our budget, and that is to compensate for the delay from hotel tax going to the province, then coming through to the municipality. We wanted to create a bit of a reserve so that we could be making decisions without any worry about that. And then, of course, we've got Destination Development and Community Relations Subcommittee, as well as some operational expenses there. So compared to last year, we are expecting in our budget an increase. Let me just get it here. Well, in 2016, we finished close to about 15 to 20% ahead, or it's looking like we're on pace to finish about 15 to 20% ahead of what we had budgeted for in terms of hotel tax collection. So that's excellent. That gives us the opportunity for adding a little bit of a reserve for next year. And we've anticipated that the continued economic sort of landscape for tourism in Victoria and Oak Bay, as that continues, then we can expect to grow approximately 20% compared to 2016's budget for 2017. So another healthy increase this year as our accommodation providers continue to have the capacity for growth within the economic environment. So that is sort of a brief snapshot of the budget and a couple highlights from that. That's kind of a roundup of the higher level kind of points and highlights. So we look forward to scaling up again for another year this year and continue to improve on our processes, improve on our strategy, and keep building that. And as you can see, we've got a very busy year ahead in terms of our volunteers and what's on our plate for this year. But we look forward to another productive year promoting our destination.
Thank you very much. And let's see if there's any questions. I want to thank you very much for your presentation. And just so we all know, and I mean, I know councillors know, but not all our community knows that this is being funded, the Oak Bay tourism, it really is being funded through a hotel tax on the two facilities we have, Oak Bay Beach Hotel and the Oak Bay Guest House. So it's really a flow through from the provincial government, who essentially collects it, turns it over to us, and that's when you come here and you give us a budget annually, and we, if we like it, we approve it, and then you have that spending authority with the money that was collected from there. So, but it is a flow through. We do have certain obligations under the provincial regulatory scheme that we have to use it on certain tourist activities. So,
That's right.
So thank you very much. And your point about the volunteers, we reiterate that how grateful we are for people coming forward like yourself and others to help out. So let's see if there's any questions about what you've told us with through the slides, or we also have your budget. Councillor Kirby, please.
Thanks for the presentation. I just have a question about the 150,000 riders in Oak Bay. Is that of just the tour buses, or does that include public transit and other tours like the cycling tours, or?
Yeah, that would be bus traffic. So that would comprise of the hop on, hop off, as well as any kind of Cruise Victoria and or bus traffic from the ferry, the Ogden Point terminal. Yeah. So it wouldn't include any cycling. When it says ridership, it means bus.
Yeah.
Ridership.
And yeah, because I don't know. I guess I'm assuming also that some tourists would use the public transit as well, but. Yeah,
there would be a percentage.
That's a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I just was wondering in relation to that I mean, I'm sure you've developed a relationship with the bus tour people.
That's
and right. I know I'm speaking for many community members where we just we heard about how the tally-ho used to come through with a horse and buggy many years ago, and now those diesel buses stroll through the community. And I'm wondering if you could please pass along the desire for the brand, which is, you know, a progressive, environmentally sensitive brand of a beautiful place, that they consider switching to electric buses. I know there's one, but I would love to see the rest of the fleet go that way.
Sure. And we do have a member of the committee who is involved in that side of the industry. So that is something that I know he's excited to find other opportunities and opportunities outside of the hop-on, hop-off variety. My understanding is that the Cruise Victoria lines have more a newer fleet in some cases and are potentially a better option in terms of environmental impact. But yes, that's something that we can definitely bring up.
Encourage them to
Sure.
to switch, because it doesn't fit with the brand, and it I know it drives a lot of residents crazy, but I just can't imagine it being incredibly pleasant either to have this like loud old bus through the, and anyways, so that's my only negative feedback. Aside from that, you guys have done a wonderful job. The video that you put out earlier, I guess it was in September.
Yes.
Is excellent, and it captures exactly the reasons why I love this community and will probably never leave. So, you know, you did an excellent job capturing the reasons we all love to live here and why we would encourage visitors. So thanks for that work. You guys have done an excellent job.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. And just in terms of the buses that work with the cruise ships, I just came from a Greater Victoria Harbour Authority where I sit as the CRD representative. In the last few years, the average bus age used to be, I think I might be a year off, but from the average age was 1989. Now it's 2006. So the fleet in the last few years has had a huge renewal and upgrade, and you'll continue to see that. Now, these aren't the buses that necessarily come through here, however. That's a different kettle of fish, so to speak. Councillor Murdoch, please, next.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the presentation. That was great.
Welcome.
I guess one quick comment. I think the upgrade on the website has been great. And I think one thing I did notice, and I'll just pass this on to you, is
Sure.
the search engine optimization that's going on right now. I think you could use, it's probably a good area to spend some money on, where people searching for general things to do in Victoria get a little more directed to ours. It's sometimes hard to find it with search engines
Sure.
currently. So
We've actually seen an improvement in our search engine ranking from the last 10 months or so. One of the contractor that we've brought on as of last year has expertise in website development and web optimization, and is the one who's actually kind of leading a lot of the efforts in the planning for how to improve on the website. The optimization, you know, there's a lot of different components that are factored into that, including the competition that you're also going up against as well. So as a smaller community destination marketing organization trying to compete with Tourism Victoria for searching things to do in Victoria, it can be a little bit tougher to play in that spectrum. But the web optimization that was listed under our goals and objectives for 2017 will definitely help to improve that. And one of the big changes that we made to the website last year was to make it more mobile friendly, and Google search algorithms are weighing more and more heavily on that as part of their algorithm. So I think we're improving, and we'll continue to do so.
very good. And the only question I had was just, I see on the budget, there's about $14,000 in total for creative services and print.
That's right.
You guys produce an excellent sort of, things to do around Oak Bay brochure. I've heard many positive comments on that. Are there anything new along those lines? Any other new print type pieces that you're looking at putting out this year?
We've talked about a couple of different pieces. We obviously have we have some opportunities with both culture, arts and culture, and highlighting some of the installations that have been growing over the years and doing potentially some sort of an arts and culture map. Walking map is something we've talked about. Enhancing our existing map is another opportunity that we have this year. The company that we engaged with to create it, we have some opportunities now to put a little bit more of what we want into that map. So that might be another opportunity where we can highlight other things that we weren't able to before. Other than that, a lot of our creative services are geared towards reaching clients and customers through digital ads and creating digital ads, print ads, reaching out through traditional marketing activities and marketing means. And a lot of the creative services line item there on the budget is for helping us to create and brand those ad campaigns as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Croft, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Morash. And your presentation was terrific. And I want to say that, having been a member of the committee for 3 years and now the council liaison, the work that this committee has done in the 5 years that I've been involved, coming from having no money because of the no revenue coming from the Obey Beach Hotel, and developing the programs and the work that you've done, creating not only the governance manual but the annual report that you have to do to the government that isn't even included in this presentation today, that takes a lot of time, is very appreciated. I was just at a meeting today which was destination development using the Tourism Victoria, Tourism Vancouver Island, and Ministry of Tourism and Skills. I was surprised that the Oak Bay Tourism Committee members weren't invited to that, but because of our the way that we belong through council, there seems to be a mix-up of who should be there. But they admitted that the work that they're doing is the work that Oak Bay Tourism has done over the last 5 years, and they're now planning to do that same kind of thing, moving it up the next scale through all the way to the Government of Canada. I learned today that the Government of Canada has put $30 million into Destination Canada to enhance our brand because it was taken off the table, so the Canada brand will be enhanced. And I also learned today that Cruise Victoria does have a double-decker electric bus that is just about ready to roll out, and that they've also put solar panels on a lot of their other vehicles so that when they're sitting doing air conditioning, the air conditioning would be running off of the electrical solar panel. So they are moving forward, and Councillor Kirby's remarks. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Croft. Councillor Braithwaite, please.
Thank you. I'm just reiterating what Councillor Croft said. It's been my pleasure to be involved with this committee as well. You guys have done a lot with a very small budget in the past, and now that you have a bigger budget, it looks like we're going to be doing a lot. You're going to keep me busy, I think, over the next little while. So I also really want to commend you on having that money in the reserve, because I know it has been, over the years, it was a bit of a hardship to not have the money coming in as quickly as what we wanted. So to have that reserve there is great. And also I want to commend you on partnering with the BIA for a couple of different events this year. I think that's wonderful to see the two different committees getting together and doing putting on events for our community. So thank you for that.
Yes, thank you. Any other questions? Right, yes, and I just want to pick up on the last point. One of the things that I mentioned in the annual address was silos in a different context, but and it's important, that's an important point to Councillor Braithwaite. I think we can get a lot more combined energy when you're working together with the BIA or with Heritage or with others in order to encourage tourists and people to come visit us, because I know how important Heritage is for visitors. One of the biggest tourist years ever, I think, in Victoria was when we had the Da Vinci exhibit down at the Royal Museum. Because people don't come here necessarily to lie on the beach and catch the high heat, but they want something that's intellectually stimulating and interesting. So as you work with other groups, that you create that. So thank you very much for doing that. It's great.
Is it appropriate to make the motion?
I think that would be very appropriate at this point.
That the Oak Bay Tourism Committee 2017 budget and business plan be approved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? None opposed? Thank you very much, and thanks for the excellent presentation. Things have progressed. I think this particular group was formed in about 1986, I think. And I don't think any member of that group knew what algorithm is. And
Some of them still don't.
and there's one founding member that's still on your group, but I'm sure he's learned it over the years. So it really is interesting to see how technology has impinged on this particular business, and it's great that you're using it. So good for you.
Thank you.
And thank your committee.
Yeah, and we appreciate the support from council, obviously, and having two liaisons from council, as well as a liaison from the BIA, which we've mentioned, and even starting some partnerships with the Heritage Committee as well this year. So thank you for all of your support as well.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. And continue being picture perfect. We know you will. How many of those 260 images were taken by Councillor Murdoch is what I'd like to know. We'll get that. All right. So we just see that was okay, tourism. We're now on item number 9, which is a grant opportunity brought forward by our Director of Engineering Services. And this is a local infrastructure planning grant that is being proposed. The recommendation here is that that we approve this application, and it does require a commitment on our part of $5,000, or a third or so of the overall project. So the recommendation is here that we authorize Mr. Horan to make this application. Let's
Second.
move and second it. Are there questions of Mr. Horan? We have your report. Thank you very much. Again, it's illuminating and enlightening, and I think has answered most of our questions. Okay, go ahead, Councillor Zelko, please.
I apologize. I need to recuse myself as a conflict of interest.
Oh, okay, that's fine. And,
Apologies.
sorry? Oh, no problem. Did you want to state what, typically you give a one-liner as to what the conflict is?
When I wear another hat, I'm working with Opus International.
Perfect, thank you. All right, thank you. We're moving a little fast there, but now that Councillor Zelka is out of the room, let's see if there's any discussions or questions for Mr. Horan. We do have a motion on the floor to approve the recommendation. Okay, all in favor? Opposed? None opposed. Thank you. And Councillor Zelka, come on back. Thank you. We're on to item number 10, which is Greater Victoria Public Library Operating Agreement. And we have the chair of the Greater Victoria Public Library and our liaison, Councillor Murdoch, here, should there be any questions. And the essence of this really is to extend it for a brief period of time. Is that correct? Councillor
No,
Murdoch?
this is actually the library operating agreement proper. So we weren't sure if we could get
that's right.
the final
You're right.
revision in
Sorry.
time for us by the end of the year. So this is actually the library operating agreement with all the changes.
It didn't
within
need
it.
to be extended till the end of January.
It will if not everybody
All right.
passes it before the end of the year. It's a question of if councils can get to it.
Would we need to have a dual, if not all councils are on board? Do we have a dual recommendation to extend it? And, well, I don't.
We've already passed the motion to extend it if necessary.
Oh, so we've already done.
This is
Okay,
a
that's right.
different.
We did that last time. Okay. So the recommendation here is to approve the 2017 to 2020 operating agreement. So questions on this, either from our staff or the chair of the GVPL? Okay, I'd entertain. Okay, go ahead. I see a question. Councillor Zelka, please.
Thank you very much, Chair. A question to Councillor Murdoch. Thank you for, if you don't mind, answering a question about the library. I appreciate you us having this opportunity. I noticed in Section 24 of the Library Act, where it specifies around the sharing the cost of library services, that whole apportionment formula that you described, if I recall last time, as being very complicated. Well, I took a look in the legislation, and yes, it is very complicated. But the question that I wanted to ask is that, number one, does this 4-year arrangement up till 2020 lock in Oak Bay's apportionment that's the highest of all per capita of all the folks in the capital region area?
So through you, Chair, the Library Act Section 24 speaks to regional libraries and that apportionment. This is actually, strangely enough, a municipal library, in which case the apportionment is part of the library operating agreement. What we are is actually the City of Victoria Library with this operating agreement that allows the other member municipalities to participate in the municipal library. So the apportionment is set within the library operating agreement, those percentages, which is based very similarly to the CRD on a combination of assessed value and population. So yeah, it will stay the same. Every time this comes up, there's some discussion about whether to change it. And I will say every jurisdiction feels they're not getting a fair percentage allocated. So the board has decided, in every instance I've been involved in it, to just leave that can of worms unopened and continue on with that with the formula as is.
Go ahead,
Chair,
Councillor Zelka.
Follow up. I do notice that the formula in the operating agreement fairly closely matches the legislation, around half population and half assessed value. My worry, as the assessed value, especially in the Oak Bay area, rises, and we don't necessarily increase our density, is that number is just going to grow, and the difference on a per capita basis paid for by, say, someone in the West Shore communities versus someone on the Oak Bay for the same essential service seems to be growing greater and greater. So my worry is that eventually I will have a hard time supporting something that seems not quite so fair. So while I'm fine to support it this time, but by 2020, assuming I'm here, I will definitely have a hard time supporting a continuation of this formula as it breaks down. Thank you.
If I
Go ahead, please.
In fairness, that's the role of this body, is to assess this and see if it meets our needs. The reality is that, of course, the population is growing very quickly in the West Shore and so forth. So that portion of that percentage will be skewed more and more out to that area. And I would also just point out that Oak Bay, for whatever reason, uses our library more than any other jurisdiction in the region. So we have is generally the number 2 or sometimes bumped to number 3, but second busiest branch after the downtown branch for a much smaller population piece. So I'm not arguing with you. I think that we have to be very careful about that not becoming skewed unfairly, but I will say that at least we use it for the money that we pay.
Yes, go ahead, please.
One last question. Just a clarification. I couldn't actually figure it out from the report. The apportionment formula makes reference to Crown lands and public lands. And we have, of course, the University of Victoria that has quite a high assessed value, and yet grants in lieu is quite low. It appears, however, that the legislation for the Library Board makes reference to the assessed value of the UVic lands, not the money we actually get in lieu, as a way of determining the apportionment. And I was wondering whether that would be another thing we would want to go back to the minister about to look for fairness. Could you clarify that, please?
Sure. The library agreement, we actually, in the way that we get our assessments, it excludes the UVic lands from our calculations of assessed value. So it doesn't actually get counted towards our apportionment.
Thank you very much. And many years ago, I did 2 terms as Oak Bay's representative, and the same issues came up then in terms of that. But Councilor Murray was quite right. The number of assessed houses will increase out in the western communities, so they will catch up eventually and maybe overtake us. Let's hope so.
I'd like to.
Now we have a
No.
We don't have a motion yet, so I'd entertain a motion to approve.
I would recommend the council approve the 2012 Greater Victoria Public Library
Second.
Operating Agreement.
Okay, in accordance with that recommendation, yes, thank you. Moved and seconded. Further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? None opposed. Thank you very much, and thanks for the work you're doing on our behalf, and for that matter, on the Greater Victoria's behalf, and in this public library. I mean, it is ironic that it is Victoria's library, and they've just grafted a whole bunch of communities on. And I know when I was the head of the governance committee, we tried to get the provincial government to create a hybrid, because this system doesn't really fit nicely in to the legislation. So, but they wouldn't. And I don't think the legislation has changed in many years on that front, which is unfortunate. All right. So we're now on to the next item. Yes, I'm going to call the question. There's an idea. Did I call the question? I did. Okay. Okay. Well, Ms. Jones was listening, and thank you very much for that, Ms. Jones.
I have a board meeting tomorrow, so it's good for me to know for sure that it got
Are
passed.
we the first out of the blocks on this one? Have other communities approved it yet?
No, a few others have approved it.
Oh, I see. All right. All right, we're at number 11, please, which is Regional Growth Strategy Amendment. We did receive from the Capital Regional District a notice of amendment and a request to give input on the regional growth strategy, which originally had been put in place in the 2003 and is now being updated. You'll see there we have a report from Ms. Jensen. Ms. Jensen's there. Hi. No relation. For me, the bottom line is that the amendments don't really change anything as it applies to us. The changes may have something to do with other growth areas, but not with Oak Bay. Is that capturing it in too much of a nutshell, Ms. Jensen, or?
You are correct that I don't foresee any implications as far as Oak Bay is concerned. This was a specific amendment that was brought forward to the Capital Regional District at their September meeting to consider some land specifically within the Machosen-Langford area. So this is preceding the referral that Council will be seeing for the entire growth strategy.
Oh, that's true too. Yes, right. So this is the segmented one. All right. The recommendation here is to accept the bylaw to amend the regional growth strategy for the CRD and direct staff to notify the CRD accordingly.
So move the recommendation.
Seconded.
Okay, moved and seconded. Discussion? Yes, go ahead, please.
Quick question, possibly for staff, if they know. What will the additional lands be used for that are being added to this area, the urban containment area? I believe they're being taken from the green space and being added to urban containment. I just want to confirm that, and what will they be used for, please?
There's a bit of a shuffle actually going on with this one. So they're essentially proposing to use about 380 acres for an industrial development along with a residential development. They're anticipating approximately 240 dwelling units, minimum lot size of ½ acres, with that residential development anticipated to provide some of the jobs for the industrial development. In exchange, as part of a treaty process, they're proposing to protect additional green space and providing a buffer around the developed area against the rural area.
Thank you very much. We have the motion on the floor. We're ready for the question? Yes. All in favor? Opposed? None opposed. Thank you very much. We have a number 12 and number 13 minutes from our panel and a commission. Again, staffed by wonderful volunteers. The first one has to do with the advisory design panel minutes from October the 4th for
Move receipt.
approval, please.
Second.
Moved.
Second.
Right, moved and seconded. Discussion. Yes, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Chair. A question through to staff about the minutes. I just wasn't quite sure what some of the comments that were captured were. It was with respect to, I guess it was item C? No, number 5C. What is it? B, C. The address is 2326 Oak Bay Avenue on page 5.
6C, is that the one? Yep, yeah, I see it.
I guess it's C.
2326 Oak Bay Avenue, preliminary review.
That's right, on page 5. There are comments within there that talks about, or statements that appear to be 98% of the residents surveyed provided support for this proposal coming forward. My question is, what evidence was provided to support those numbers? And if none, will there be evidence being provided in the future if that statement is used again, please?
Who's going to answer this one? Ms. Jensen, Mr. Thomason?
Yeah, if I may, again, this particular application that went to the advisory design panel was very much preliminary review. So I would anticipate that as the application moves forward, they will be providing, in addition to the materials they've already provided, information more on how they're, where that support was garnered from.
Okay, go ahead. Is there a
And a
follow-up to
follow-up,
that,
if I may,
Councillor
please.
Zelka? Thank you.
Yes, thank you. In the same general area of the minutes, it made reference to an official community plan aspect appears to be in process or coming forward. I couldn't find any reference to that anywhere else, and I wasn't aware that this proposal had anything to do with an official community plan possible amendment. If you could help clarify for that for me, that would help me to understand what the minutes are trying to say. Thank you. I'm referring to the first point right after element C that introduces 2326 Oak Bay Avenue. Original application tabled until official community plan was adopted, or is it referring to?
That was the old one.
That was the
I was
old
under
one?
the old council, rejected the initial application, wanting to go through the official community plan process, which was well underway by then.
So my understanding
Not-
then is
not
that
the-
there won't need to be an OCP amendment. is
No,
the
because
understanding.
it ended up being part and parcel of that. So, all right, thank you. So we have a motion to receive these. All in favor? Opposed, none opposed. We have the Advisory Planning Commission. Again, they have 4 sets of minutes, October 4th, 18th, November 1st, November 15th. This is a very active commission doing a lot of heavy lifting for us. So if I could have a motion to
Move receipt.
receive, and then we can see if there's any
Second.
questions. Thank you. Moved and seconded. Questions on any particular one of these, please? Thank you. Go ahead. Councillor Zelka.
Thank you, Chair. I'm very pleased to see, I've sort of summarized, can infer from the minutes that a manual has been devised. I just wanted to ask, I couldn't quite tell what the plans are for that manual and whether it will be presented to council for us to take a look at some point. If I could get some clarification on the APC manual, please.
Yes, if I may, the Advisory Planning Commission has been working on development of a procedures manual that really reflects the other bylaws that are in place through the district, procedures bylaw, their own implementation bylaw for the Advisory Planning Commission. So what they've done is created a manual that will make it easier for new members and for the public to actually see how the commission functions. So the commission has finalized that manual. Staff are currently going through it just to make sure there are no inconsistencies, and that I would anticipate it coming in front of council for their review.
Okay, go ahead, please.
And,
You got more questions on the minutes?
Yes, I appreciate the opportunity. On November 15th minutes specifically, this meeting, if I remember correctly, was shortly after our first priority meetings. And one of the outputs of our priority meetings was to go, was a general question to the APC around orders of things in terms of what was going first, in terms of the context, if I remember correctly. And please correct me if I'm wrong. But it looks like on the November 15th meeting, I'm just trying to sort of, as I say, figure it out. There was some sort of an affinity process that's made reference to on page 3. What did we learn from the affinity exercise as part of some sort of a facilitated workshop? I would love to understand what that was, number one. And number two, my question was, who participated in this facilitated workshop in terms of providing these comments? Was it just commission members, or were there also staff members providing the comments that are within the minutes of the commission? Thank you.
So the
Well,
affinity,
just a minute. Ms. Cordy, did you want to grab this one?
So I think I can, because part of it was
there was a number of staff that were there, and yes, the staff were asked to participate. It was primarily the committee members, and the affinity process was a process or procedure that the vice chair had suggested that the group would want to go through. So it was actually something I think that was new for a lot of us, and it was a sort of a process by which he was gleaning a lot of information and had a number of different components to it. The process isn't finished. The committee actually just met, help me out here, I think it was on Tuesday, and so they have one more session, and they hope to be able to make a recommendation to council. But there were a number of staff people, and we were invited to attend by the committee.
Thank you. And when you say the vice chair, is vice chair of the Advisory Planning Commission?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions on that? Thank you. We have a motion to receive. Thank you very much. All in favor? Opposed? None opposed. Thank you. Nothing under item number 14. We have number 15. And a brief report from the Capital Regional District. We did much like we are doing tomorrow, we did a provisional budget at the CRD. I believe I sent some documents around to council. For Oak Bay, we had two numbers that were important. The added cost per average household on the tax side, if I can call it that, is about $11 for the increase in the CRD requisition. And then there was on the utility side, which is essentially the cost of sewage and sewage treatment. That was, we calculated $55 to an average user. That, of course, will go up and down depending on the level of water consumption. And so that's the news there. Much like we do here, the CRD will go into a final budget process in the spring of next year. So that's the big news there. Other than that, that was alluded to, the regional growth strategy will be circulated fairly soon. And that's the important business, I think, that impinges on us and our pocketbooks here in Oak Bay. Okay, that's my report. Any other verbal reports from other committees? No? Okay. Oh, yes, Tom. Tom. No, not Tom, but I was Mayor Nils. You're Councillor Tom, okay?
Councillor Tom, okay. I did make my verbal report earlier on attending that destination development thing earlier when tourism was here, but I just wanted to slip it back in here. It's a 10-year plan that they're working on to increase the destination products that are available in our southern Vancouver Island.
Excellent, excellent. Any other reports? Yes, Councillor Murdoch, and then Councillor Braithwaite.
I just, 2 points on the library. One, so this is actually my last meeting tomorrow as I'm chairing, because I've hit my maximum time I'm allowed to chair. But the work will still go on, which is very good. And one of the things I was going to bring today, and I didn't, but I would just like people to be aware of it. Stop by the library. There's a new initiative in the last 6 months where we brought out program guides. So you can actually go there and get, like kind of like we have for the recreation center. There are program guides available, so you can see all the things that are happening. And it's quite remarkable. Like if you go to the calendar and look, there's often upwards of 20 events going on a day in the libraries through the region in terms of reading clubs and reading things and authors' readings, and just sometimes just some safe space of LGBTQ gathering places and all kinds of stuff that's going on in the library. So, but the little guidebooks are excellent in terms of what's happening, especially if you have young families and so forth. So, thank you.
Excellent. And if at your last meeting you can suggest that that copies be given to Oak Bay, extra copies for inclusion in the welcome package that everyone and all new owners in Oak Bay are greeted with by myself. And so it's that would be something that I think would be very useful, because the package right now contains our recreation guide or activity guide, and so as long as it's thin, I think we have room for a little thin document. It's pretty well chock-a-block of information. Councillor Braithwaite, please.
I'm just wondering if this is the appropriate time for me to talk about the support for the Mayor's Caucus that we're. So, as Council may remember, in September, you voted on support for Oak Bay to host the BC Mayor's Caucus in February of 2017. And to that end, staff has brought it to our attention that it's probably appropriate that we have a resolution that we are allowed to, that the Mayor and I are allowed to undertake some administration and financial duties for that Mayor's Caucus. So I do have a resolution that I would like to read, and it is that the District of Oak Bay have been selected as the host for the BC Mayor's Caucus in 2017. Mayor Jensen and Councillor Braithwaite will be authorized to undertake administrative and financial duties to assist with the municipality hosting this event.
Moved and seconded. So one of the, we have been very fortunate to have an offer from a significant offer from a sponsor, and so that money would essentially go into our bank account here, as opposed to getting it in cash and just keeping it in our pockets until February, which would be highly inappropriate. So this is a way that we can track it and then issue checks from that particular segmented account. We do hope to get other sponsorships, and of course the registration monies will be coming in shortly. So we do expect to have some financial dealings and to have that account, and we discussed it with Ms. Carter as to which would be the best way, and this appears to be the most administratively efficient way. We've got some, well, we're not going to reveal tonight, but we had some exciting news about a keynote speaker today, and we sent out our registration forms yesterday, which Councillor Braithwaite's been working on, so we're getting a lot of very positive feedback. So at this point, we're looking forward to a very successful Oak Bay Beach Hotel conference. Thank you. Councillor Croft.
Are we going to have any duties around this as councillors? In that we are the
just you
hosts?
wait.
Yeah, or we, or should we plan our holidays?
Well, I think I'd be around. We certainly are looking for welcome ambassadors. And I know when I was up in Fort St. John, there was a number of councillors who helped out. And if you're available the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, you'd be more than welcome to participate in as Oak Bay Goodwill ambassadors. So we have right now we're looking at having a reception, a welcome reception, on Wednesday night, and we have an all-day meetings on Thursday, and then we have a study session on the Friday. So it'll be very quick, a little shorter than it was up in Fort St. John. Yep. Okay, so motion has been moved and seconded. Discussion, questions, all in favor? Opposed? None opposed. Thank you very much. Yeah, some great things are going to come out of that, we feel. So any other new business? No, seeing none, we move on to number 16, which is the confirmation of the 2017 Council and Citizen Volunteer appointments. Again, it's always impressive to look at the number of people who've come forward to help out, and we're grateful to all of those people who've put their name forward. We're also we're grateful to the work of our councillors who, as we can see here, who go far and wide. They get immersed in water. They get immersed in the library and tourism and provincial court family committee and the like. So thank you all, councillors, for helping out in this way. So motion to approve and confirm these, I think, is
So
the
moved.
right.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Not opposed. Thank you very much. Meeting schedule for the coming year. You'll see there that we're also putting in some committee of the whole in front of regular councils. And again, that's a move to be a little more efficient and use our time wisely. So it's a matter of approving, a motion to approve this schedule for 2017.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions? Councillor Zelko, please.
Thank you, Chair. Drew, would love a clarification. The first part of first dates imply that there will always be an in-camera meeting starting at 6 before the regular meeting at 7. Is that just like an optional place setting, or is
Yes, yeah, there will be many's a day where we don't have in camera, but this is just kind of so, again, a community gets a sense of that we used to have, the tradition was to adjourn at the end of the regular meeting and then go in camera, and quite often we were here till quite late. And so the preference has been to do it earlier. It's also easier on staff. Okay, so it won't be a regular affair. I mean, I think we're fairly parsimonious when it comes to holding in camera meetings. We follow certainly the guidelines as laid out by the ombudsperson and in our legislation for that matter. Okay, so moved and seconded to approve this. Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Opposed? None opposed?
Move adjournment.
Moved and seconded. And I wish everyone a best of the holiday season. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Hope to see all of you January 1st. If there's no other discussion, I'm going to call the question. All in favor? Opposed? None opposed. But we will see you tomorrow at a special meeting.